being away from home then, I know a couple of you were in college for a couple of years, so you already had that experience of being away from home. And Art, you were pretty young when you went in. What was that like being away from home and the communication back home, especially, like you don't have the technology that we do now of the communication of back home. What was that like being away from home for the first time and not being able to call your parents, at night, or not being able to see them and friends and all that? What was that like being away from home for the first time in that capacity, and then the communication back home?
Scary. It was very scary for me anyway. I'd never been, before I left that and went for my physical, I had never been more than about 20 miles from home. And but I would, as far as my mother and my dad got killed by a Holstein bull when I was 19 months old, so I didn't have a dad. My mother raised 6 of us on an 80-acre farm. So with the 2 oldest boys, well, in fact, all of them, I had a brother in the Army, and he was in World War II. But as far as closeness, I don't think we had a real close family. But my mother and I were, in the last 3 or 4 years before I enlisted, was more or less just her and me, and the rest of it all left. But it was very scary when you're, especially on a train all by yourself, and you see all these people, different nationalities, they're speaking all kinds of language, and you're standing there wondering, are they talking about me, or am I that dumb, or whatever? But being away from Mama was a pretty a heck of an experience that I can remember.
Anyone else?
No, the communication part of it is pretty wild. If you were in some time ago, excuse me, and you wanted to make a phone call from overseas, some cases you had to book that call out a week or 2 to make it work. And the last time I had anything like that, I was overseas. My son was in Afghanistan, but I had this system worked out so I could sit down at the desk in the workplace and call my son, phone to phone, no messing around. Or I could pick a time to call home because I had set up a system that used a credit card on once it got to the States, and I was just on DSN, which is Defense Switching Network. It's a worldwide telephone system. And when it's not in use and the traffic isn't heavy, you can do that. A lot of people wouldn't bother to learn how that worked, but it was something else.
I was quite fortunate because I had already been out of college and been out on my own, but all of the women in where we were housed, there were some of them that had children, and like the one woman was a single mom, and so basically she left her child with her parents until she got through officer training, and it was extremely hard for them because we were on such a limited time frame. I mean, there was no way that you could talk to anybody in the daytime, but then once you got back to the dorms at night, when you were to be studying and things like that. But for those gals, it was limited because they only had a certain time frame that they could talk to their children. So, they went through some really difficult times.
That's kind of like when you said, we were talking yesterday, that was the first time I ever flown. We talked about there's some students in here that hadn't flown yet. That was the first time I ever flown, was when I went to basic training. So that was kind of scary in itself to me. Just, I was a year out of high school, so I was a little older, but I mean, still it was that experience, and then getting there, and then we didn't have any cattle truck problems, but just getting off that bus after that first night, getting off that bus after we were all together in the middle of the night. I mean, we were there probably, I can't remember for sure, but it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when we got there, and we'd been up since. I individually left the MEP station in Omaha like at mid-morning and sat around Omaha for 5 hours at the airport because they just drop you off from one of your flights at 6 o'clock tonight or whatever. I'm like, oh man. But you get down there and it's the middle of the night and you're just like, what in the world am I getting on? myself into, and they start yelling at you, and you don't want to stick out and go back to basic training. You always want to kind of blend in. Well, unfortunately, I have bright red hair, and that's a little hard, but it, you know, just once it got shaved off, it wasn't so bad. So it was real short, and nobody could tell what it was, but it was kind of, you know, scary. It was as far as, you know, I think when we got there, you had this little, go to the phone line, here's the card, and this is what you tell your mom or dad, whoever answers the phone. This is, you call, and this is what you tell. I'm Airman Smith, I've made it here safe and sound, whatever, and that's it, click. Then I don't think we got another phone call until later, sometime later, after training, closer to the middle part probably. And we could do some letters, some mailing back and forth and stuff, I think, but back then anyway, you know, I don't know what they do now with technology, you know, if you're able to, you know, do some more of that type of stuff in basic training or not. But, and my grandfather died when I was there, so the only communication I had back from that, the Red Cross called, and my drill sergeant told me that, you know, they had to go to the headquarters building, whatever, went there and got the phone call, talked to mom and dad, and that was it. And if I would have left training and come back home for the funeral, that would have been pushed back to the next cycle, so I was like, and I was only 2 days away from graduating, so I'm like, nah, I'm staying here. But so yeah, the communication part was a little scary to begin with, but I mean, that's what I think helped too, is you grew as a flight, as well, and we were, you know, we got to know, we had, sounds weird, but we had bed buddies. The guy in the bed next to us, it was our guy, you know, helped us, made sure, you know, we were looking out for each other, you know, like, you know, battle buddies, a lot of other people call it.
That's better.
That's what we had. But, you know, so I mean, I got you closer to those people because you had nobody else to talk to. I mean, that's when you were doing your stuff at night, you're cleaning and getting ready to hit the rack. I mean, so I think that's part of their purpose on not having that communication and drilling you down. But I think it all made us better. It makes you a better person, I think. And you know, just kind of going back to it, I strongly encourage anybody, you know, in the military, give the military a try. Get there, get your 4 years, earn some money for college. You know, if you just want to spend 4 years in the military, you know, get that money from them to help pay for college or make it a career, as some of these guys have done. So,
You talk about how the communication is now. I just spoke with, we have a former student that's in the military right now. He's in basics right now. And so I asked his brother, have you heard from him? And this has been a few weeks ago. And he said, we got a phone call, but it was really short. And it was pretty much exactly what you said. It was, I got here safe and a couple other sentences, and that was it. And that was it. And now they've received some letters and stuff, and another phone call. And I think kind of what you said, you want them to bond. You know, you want to bond with your group, and that's what the student told me, that he's met a lot of good people now, and so he's enjoying his time right now. But that first phone call, like what you said, it was, and he even said, it's almost like he was reading something.
yeah, it's printed out right there in the phone.
Is it pasted on the wall?
Yeah.
That's what ours was, because it's pasted right on the wall. What you're supposed to say to your folks.
And everybody's in line, and it's like, Sergeant Carter, you're done, get out of
You
here.
got 2 minutes,
Get
get
out.
out.
It's just like the shower. You go in the shower, we called it Sergeant Vargas' shower. And we all lined up, and each spot in the shower, it was an open shower, so there was like 10 heads in there or whatever, but you'd start in line, and the first one you got wet, the next one you put a little soap on, the next one you rinsed off, the next one you're drying, you're out. And that's how we all did it. And you learned because you weren't going to use everything, because you know, you only used one urinal, you only used one stool, you only used one sink.
Otherwise, you had to clean them all.
Yeah, well, otherwise you just wipe the dust off the rest of them, they're shiny. So you just clean that one every night, the one that everybody had to use. So, I mean, it was fun. Sergeant Vargas car wash, that's what the showers were. I mean, that's how I take a 2-minute shower. I can still do that today. I take a fast shower.
How about the food in the military?
What?
How about the food? So from, you know, when you first enlisted, you first got there, to when you were then deployed elsewhere, was it different from being in basic to when you were stationed somewhere else? Was it the same? What was the food like for you?
We were told the Navy had it great.
Untrue.
Okay.
We had good food though. The main places that had the best food was the Air Force, and the bases on the Air Force. Especially overseas, when you were overseas, like we were in Japan, and we dock, and then we'd go to the base with the Air Force Base. And they had their, like the Japanese were their, they had waitresses, and they'd come and bring your food to you. And, I mean, those people had, that was one reason why I kind of joined the Air Force. But after I got in there, it wasn't like that no more. They didn't do that. But food in general was good. I happened to be on one loading party that went to the supply ship when I first got to went to sea, and we got the supplies to go overseas, and they brought in the eggs, the cartons of eggs, or their boxes, and the date on that was packed in 1941, and this is in 1948. And these eggs had been in storage for 7 years in coolers, but they were good eggs. They were better than powdered eggs, I'll tell you that. But you know, being looking at that, my God, are they going to be rotten or hatched or what? Those are experiences that you learn to live with. But I love eggs. I really
I was blessed. I went to, you know, the Hilton of mess halls. Yeah, food at Lackland and the Officer Annex was excellent, excellent. You didn't have really much time to enjoy it. And again, that's the regimen of being there in a certain amount of time. You had X number of minutes to eat. Yeah, you showed up, you ate, and you went back out. And, but it was wonderful food. Good thing I was getting as much exercise, or my uniforms wouldn't have fit at the end.
Yes, our food basic was horrible, but after that, it was, any Air Force base I was stationed at, the food was great. Like you said, it was, afterwards, everything was great. It was like going to a Golden Corral, I guess would be compared to what it is now. It was basically buffet style. You went in, you ate like kings, and sat in comfortable chairs. And
How about, like Terry, you mentioned you were over in Afghanistan.
I wasn't in Afghanistan.
Oh, you weren't, okay.
Well, you know, initially when you first get there, you live off MREs and you find a way to make them good. But, you know, fortunately, our Department of Defense, what they do is, that is a funny story. You eat a lot, gotta go to the bathroom a lot, right? Well, when we first got to Kuwait, before my first deployment to Afghanistan, the Kuwaitis gave us an enormous warehouse district. I mean, we're talking maybe 15 buildings, twice the size of a football field. And that's where all the troops would start flowing into that would eventually be going into Afghanistan back right up in 2001. Well, but the Kuwaitis built us bathrooms in each one of those warehouses. So you can shower, go to the bathroom, eat great, the food is great. Unfortunately, this warehouse district was designed to only have 15, 20 people working in it in the office, and the sewer line was about this big. So I went to Afghanistan, spent 6 months there, and by the time I got back, you know, the base was now big enough to start flowing in tens of thousands of troops from Kuwait into Afghanistan. And there was a problem. All the toilets were backing up. They started finding every porta potty they could find in Kuwait and get them there and started using them. But the food was great, just a consequence of bringing in tens of thousands of troops in an area that wasn't designed for it. And so that little 6-inch sewer line, they were digging that up and were making big giant sewer lines to accommodate all of the use. So that was a good story. But no, the food was great. Never had any problem. MREs are 1,000 times better than what they used to be. Oh, they were not so good initially, but then after a while they started putting cheeseburgers in them. All different types of pastas, and they're pretty good. My last tour was pretty good.
One thing, I don't know if you ever had sea rats.
One time.
You know, sea rations used to be the thing, and it was pretty much canned. And MREs are dried food, and in envelopes, basically. And if you had sea rations, you didn't have to have so much water. I mean, you needed some, but it was all, you know, ready to eat, if that's a good way to put it. You go through that. But with MREs, you had to have a clean water source. And then if you wanted warm food, you had to have a hot water source. And people solve that problem different ways. But I ate a number of hamburger patties that were reconstituted in coffee. That solved my clean water and my hot water problem.
I give it
Add some flavor.
You're pretty tough.
You bet.
Do what you have to do, I guess. I couldn't have eaten.
But you're hungry, you got limited time and limited resources. That's it. And my worst experience was being sent to southern France. And we didn't have any chow hall there. So we would go out on the economy. And the French have McDonald's. And the menu's pretty close to ours. But it is expensive. Don't kid yourself. So we do that. And then, this little village, well, it was more significant maybe than that, about 25 miles, 40 kilometers away. There was this hotel, restaurant, and it was great. You know, I had a vehicle, round up a few guys to fill the seats, head up to the Boar's Head, get up there 2 or 3 nights a week, maybe if you were lucky, and they had a great chef. But you didn't have any money left over after you used your allowance there. But it was